Hey everybody, Ben here, and today we've got another Last Winter box opening. The Kickstarter product has started arriving. I see a lot of people in the Discord opening some cool stuff, so I figured I would open one of my Kickstarter boxes and see what we get. So I'm excited to crack this open. Let's take a look at what we get. I always like to theorize about how I might build a sealed deck out of a particular kit. But I won't spend too much time on that today. I just want to look at all the cool cards and see if we can open anything spicy to play with and maybe bring onto the digital client. And right off the bat, we opened a foil deck. So I think I will save that one for last out of this particular pack. Let's go ahead and start with our Aloyan. I feel like Aloyan got a pretty decent buff in this set. Whether it's going to be super competitive, that's still yet to be seen. But in terms of sealed play, it definitely is a lot stronger than it used to be. I especially like the sort of mobility and stealth mechanic of the Necrium pairing with Aloyan. So that's always a fun thing to check out. So let's get ourselves started with an Aloyan Monolith. Follow that up with an Aloyan Patroller. Good old Ardent Virtuoso. Arrogant Champion, one of the new Exalted creature types. Let's give your adjacent creatures increased attack and health if you can put it in an Exalt lane. Got a Combat Justicar. Metamind Overseer. We've got a Prepared Tactician. Got a Reconstruct, a nice attack doubling effect. It's not free at the first level, but it can get free at second and third. We got our Spirit Steel Infiltrator. I like this guy a lot. It's nice, aggressive, deals a decent amount of damage, and can move around quite a bit. So it's always a nice one to see. And then we got a Silver Arc as another Exalt. Take a look here at our Forgeborn as well. Got Crux Cobalt with Mind Wipe at Cycle 2, Synaptic Siphon at 3, and Determined Choice at Cycle 4. So Determined Choice might be a pretty interesting one to see in competitive play. Just being able to mess with your opponent's actions could be pretty back-breaking if you can do it at the right time. But yeah, this has got a little bit of everything. There's no real decent interaction per se. You got a little bit of like armor generation, some attack increasing. A lot of decently attack statted creatures though, so this could be good as like an aggressive deck. But let's keep on going. Let's take a look here at our Tempest. Tempest also has some pretty interesting cards in this set. And I like kind of where they went with some of the faction pairing here. So we'll start off with an Arrogant Stonefist. Got the Ashurian Flame. So deal 7 to a creature. If you have a creature with increased attack, you get to do 7 more. Got the Deep Frost Hills. I really like these energy exalts. They can put in a lot of work. Got an Elementalist Knight. Not sure how I feel about this card. It seems like a lot of setup. And it basically relies on your opponent playing a creature into that lane because there's just so few ways to move an enemy creature around, other than the Aloyan taunting ability, which doesn't really work with this because you have to replace it to make that work. Got Ice Storm is back. Nargoth Commander is back as well. Got a Sparking Collar. It's a nice one to be able to move your guys around to better position. Got the Summoning Smashfist. The Wildfire Maiden. This one I do like quite a bit. It basically does the same amount of damage as a Sparking Omni does without the sort of upside, but it is common, so you see it a lot more often. And the Windweaver Seer. So nice, tricky exhaust and ready your own guys. You can do some really cool things with that particular card. And for our Forgeborn, we've got Korok with a Deep Burn at 2, Stronghold at 3, and Whirlwind at 4. Stronghold just seems like a really powerful ability to me, just being able to give one of your creatures plus 10 attack and aggressive if you can line up in an Exalt lane. Seems like it could be pretty game ending. I'd be interested to see how much Deep Burn impacts with all the life gain decks that are pretty popular right now. I could see it doing a bit of work, especially in a highly aggressive deck. But yeah, let's keep on going. Alright, so on to our Utera, starting off with this Ardent Wartusk. Doing my best not to look at the backs of the pack prematurely, because if we get a Soulbind, I want to be surprised by it. Alright, so Ardent Wartusk. Got the nice staple Botanimate. Got the new Cultivating Guardian. It's a nice, with the new upgrade mechanic for Utera, where you can upgrade your creatures. This one lets you play it for free once you get it to its highest level. Hardshell Beetle. Get some armor if you have increased attack. You got a Naturalizing Bartok. So Naturalizing is nice. They gave basically the Leyline Vermin ability to as a Forge modifier, which is cool. Got Pack Elk for another little bit of life gain thing going on. Got Predatory Attack, which I do like. Especially nice with the Elk having the Slay ability, since you can basically attack something twice. Got a Prevailing Packmaster, and that's interesting. So, at the end of your turn, you may play a creature for free. So, at the earlier levels, you get to upgrade a creature for free and discard it. But, I don't know if I like this on a Packmaster. Packmaster I usually want to be attacking with. Shepherding Willow. And a Utera Forebears. Give something when it attack and health when it deploys, and give it that same attack and health when it dies. For Forgeborn, we've got, looks like we've got a Soulbind Oros. So deploy Shatterwild at 2, you got Deepwood Assault at 3, and Barkskin at 4. But if you can do the Soulbind here, which is a little bit hard to pull off. So when you creature in this lane gains attack, put energy counter on this. Then if there are 5 or more energy counters on it, transform this and overlay it with Oros. Yeah, getting a creature to increase its attack 5 times in a lane seems pretty challenging. Because usually you can only do it once or twice a pop. So it's going to take several turns for that to go off. But what you do get is you have to give one of your creatures increased attack and then give another enemy creature -3. So it has a way of interacting with the board, which is nice. Unnatural Disaster. This seems like a game-ending ability. You give a creature +7 attack this turn, it gets Breakthrough and set its opposing creature's health to 1. So that can push through a ton of damage. And then finally, Darkwood Armor. Give 2 creatures 12 armor this turn. This turn, when either of those creatures is dealt damage, it gets that much attack as well. So it becomes Thunder. They turn them into Thunder Swords with some armor. So that's pretty cool. I do like that this deck has a couple of removal options here. Some decently statted creatures. And a little bit of upgrade stuff going on. So I could definitely see, like with the Ardent Wartusk, you got some warrior synergy going on. Naturalizing Bartok's just a nice, like, play it on the first turn, the first action in your turn, and then you shut off something like a Shambler, and then pump something the next play up. So yeah, I can see that deck actually performing quite well. It's like a Utera Tempest build if you get a nice aggressive deck with it. The only problem with aggressive decks and those Blighted Forgeborn is that you may be ending the game before you even get to trigger the ability, do the overlay. So your first cycle ability, or second cycle ability, becomes kind of a waste in that case. Well, let's see what we got here. I'm trying to be gentle with this so we don't hurt the foil deck. Alright. Got Combat Demon, nice big body. Got the Crypt Haunter. So it's level 1 and 2 gets reanimated at the level 3. The level 1s are just 1/1s that basically do a Pyre Song effect when they die. Got the Dark Shaper Savant, one of my faves. Got our Dissipating Spectre. It's a nice, just sort of staple. Grimgaunt Predator, a nice removal spell on a stick. Infernal Ritual, this is a nice game-ending card. The Nirali Engulfer, so it's got like a sort of a suppressing effect if you can get it exalted. Got the Restless Dead to bring back a spirit. We've got actually 3 spirits there. Got the Sacrifice Chamber, which is a nice combo with the Grimgaunt Predator. And then we've got a Stout Drake. This is a little removal light, but it has some cool stuff going on with it. Let's see what Forgeborn we got here. So we got Circe with Sorrow at 2, Circe's Propaganda at 3, and Soul Siphon at 4. So, not the greatest Circe, but you can do a little bit of damage with it. But a cool foil deck to open in this first booster here. I like that it has the Grimgaunt Sacrifice Chamber combo. Hard to pull off, but when you do, it can be game ending. Essentially, if you're not familiar with that combo, the Sacrifice Chamber gives the Grimgaunt Predator the Slay ability to deal damage to your opponent, and then the Grimgaunt Predator kills a creature when it damages your opponent, so it just will kill all the creatures on your opponent's board as a sort of chaining effect, especially if you have it at level 3, just by having it in the Sacrifice Chamber lane. So all you have to do is hit it once, or, you know, if you block like a Wisp or something with it, then it just sets off a whole chain reaction. So that's our first pack. Let's go ahead and check out our next one. Alright, so no foils in this one, but still some decent cards. Start off again with our Aloyan and our Aloyan Monolith, which is probably the most likely card you're going to see at the start of the alphabet, since it is a common. It's not a card I'm particularly impressed with, but I think it's a little bit better than most people give it credit for. Being able to upgrade a card and just have a armor on a stick when you need it is not terrible. Got the Aloyan Sage. This is the one that lets you stack your discard pile between cycles, and at level 3, just play a free card from your discard pile at the end of the cycle, which is cool. Got the Brigard Carrier, move it around, make some gizmos. Camouflaged Guide. It's kind of like the Bartok ability. It gives the next creature you play plus health. Got a Citadel Justicar, just a big body with Defender. Got the Metasite, nice way of manipulating the board. Got Shield Droid, so drop that in the lane, give armor to all your creatures is pretty cool. Spirit Forge Sentinel's back. Got the Infiltrator again, another nice spirit to have. And a Steel Eye Researcher. So Steel Eye Researcher with Brigard Carrier could be kind of cool. Let's see what our Forgeborn is. We've got a Crux with Synaptic Siphon, Determined Choice, and Mind Wipe at 4. So, not terrible. It seems like kind of a control-y deck. It only has the 1 Exalt for the Shield Droid, which is a little disappointing if you're going to try and go the Shield Droid route. But the Droid has a decent amount of stats, so if you can get some other Exalts going. Steel Eye with only the 1 way of making gizmos is a little sad, but if you have put it with a high minion count deck, it could be good, I guess. Let's check out our Aether Tap Tempe's deck here. So, I do like some of these Tempe's cards. I do like kind of that Exalt theme. There's some really, really powerful Forge modifiers in Tempe's in this round, in this set, I feel like. There's the Echoing, Energizing, Torching, I think all those Firebranding, all of these new Forge modifiers are pretty solid. And I can see getting, if you can get a deck with multiples of one of those, you can really build towards it. But let's start off here. We got our Aether Tap. Give a creature attack, and if it's in an Exalt lane, you get to play 2 Spell Sprites. Got an Ardent Rager, just exalted and aggressive. Nice stats on that for an aggressive creature. You got a Combat Evoker, just grow it as you play your spells. Got the Flame Stoker Ritual, deal 7 to one of your creatures to deal 15 to an enemy creature. It's kind of like a Grave Pact. Got Flaming Master, so we got a little bit of a mage thing going on. Lava Field Watchdog. So if one of your creatures died, it gets +10 attack. Got Mount of Heroes, nice common. Deal damage to one of your creatures to increase the attack on everything else. Got a Reckless Gale Caller, so Reckless is back. This one, you activate it to move Exalts around just like Ator can. But because it has the breakthrough and increased attack, you have to deal 7 to something when it comes out. Sparking Hawkrider, so it's a weird underdrop. Dealing, you're not likely to get to 3, and Sparking is kind of weak at the lower levels. And then finally, we've got a Stampeding Monosaur. Nice common to see back in print with this self-destruction synergy stuff going on. And for our Forgeborn, we've got a Blighted Sunder. So Scoria Stones at 2, Gathering Storm at 3, and Frost Axe at 4. So Frost Axe is sort of, I think, is one of the Blighted specific abilities. So choose an enemy creature. When it is dealt damage this turn, destroy it. Okay, so that's good with Sparking. Let's see what the Soulbind is. So at the start of your turn, if there are no enemy creatures in this lane, put an energy counter on it, and you only need 3. So it takes at least 3 turns to flip, but as long as you can keep that lane empty, it's not that difficult to flip. And then our overlay is Elemental Frenzy. Transform, you may deal 5 to a creature. Nice. I like it. It interacts with the board. Shadowbound, it turns Gathering Storm to hit both the player and the creature when you play a spell. And then Bloodbath. Choose 2 enemy creatures. When either of those creatures are dealt damage this turn, destroy them. So again, a nice ability with the Sparking. But yeah, this is an interesting deck. I do want to try out the new Sunder. Let's see, we had, 3 spells in here to go with Sunder's sort of spell-heavy stuff. No ways to really play free stuff, which I tend to like in the spell decks. But yeah, let's see what else we've got in this pack. So, moving on to Utera, we got Batterhide has come back from their little vacation during Battle for White Fang Pass. So now we've got Naturalizing and Batterhide back as ways to shut stuff down for a turn, which is nice. So we got our Ardent Batterhide, got the Biting Bartok, another Cultivating Guardian. Ways to upgrade your creatures is especially nice with something like Ardent, since you want to skip the first level. Got Dendrify. Got the Everflow Idol on its back. It's a nice Spirit. Got the Lycian Shard. You put 2 energy counters on it, and then you can start giving creatures attack and breakthrough. Got a Noxious Wildman. So destroy all exhausted enemy creatures. That's a good combination for a Wildman there. Got the Shaman's Channeling, so that's another new spell. Give a creature 12. If you have 3 or more spirits in your banished pile, you can give all of your creatures breakthrough this turn. So that could be pretty devastating. Got the Stegodon Alpha back. And Tremorsaur is back. Again, I'm not sure how I feel about Tremorsaur. It's a lot harder to pull off than Thundersaur in terms of pumping its attack. But yeah, so Nova, we got a Nova's Evolution at 2, so upgrade 2 level 1 creatures and discard one of them. Got the Nova's Might, and then Crimson Thorn. Give one of your creatures +8 health, and then if it's in a lane with an Exalt, you get to give each adjacent creature +8. So it's a pretty significant stat boost. No real ways to interact other than the Ardent Batterhide and sort of with the Dendrify, but this could also have some pretty aggressive bent to it with just a lot of increasing attack power. So, not terrible. Let's see what we got here. The last one is our Necrium here with Collar of Souls right on the top. I like this card a lot, especially if you have the spirit support for it. At its lower levels, you get to just upgrade cards like crazy. The level 1, you don't have to, you're not stuck with it in your opening hand because you can at least upgrade a card in your hand. So yeah, it's just a really well-designed card, and that activate ability is just devastating, destroying all of your enemy creatures just by sacking it. Got Darksaber Savant coming up. Got a Forsaken Demon, nice, as demons tend to be big, and if you can keep it from being, still a 14/14 at 3 is still nothing to sneeze at. Got the Haunting Shard Witch, so Haunting just makes it into a spirit. 12, 13 stealth, not terrible. Got a Malicious Alluvion. So Malicious, when it's destroyed, you get to give a creature attack. Got ourselves a Sacrifice Chamber. Oh, Shambling is back. We got a Shambling Revenant. We got a Stalking Devourer. A Stout Skeleton. And a Vile Maw. Okay. So, Vile destroys itself, but this is sort of the Bartok effect, but in reverse. It gives your opponent's creature -8, -8. Again, I'm not a big fan of Vile. I think it's one of the weakest abilities you can get. But I guess it does have its place sometimes. So Cersei, you got the Soul Siphon, Sorrow, and Cersei's Propaganda. The only Exalt we got was the Sacrifice. Actually, the only spell we got was the Sacrifice Chamber. And how many spirits we get? Just the Shard Witch. So yeah, this deck is kind of a bit of a whiff. I just don't. It's just kind of all over the place. Devourer with only one Exalt is rough. The Vile Maw is hard to play. There's no other than the Caller of Souls. You don't have much way of upgrading. So yeah, that was a bit of a whiff for me in terms of what you can possibly get in Necreum. So let's just keep moving on. Got 2 more of these boxes to open. Let's see if we get anything else cool. Alright, well, good sign to see Caller of Souls on top again. And Ancestral Staff and a Land Patroller. So why don't we start with a Necreum this time instead of ending with it? Our Necreum has the big bad of the set, the Hantu. Maybe we can open one of those in this box. We've missed on the first 2, but never know. Alright, so Caller Souls again. Got the Dissipating Spectre. Got a Hematophagic Demon. Got a Horrific Maw. That's a good one. I like that one. So at least you have to kill something and then make it really awkward for them with their next play. Got the Hungering Strike. The Nyrali Engulfer again. So we must have some sort of Exalt in here. Got the Restless Dead. Sacrifice Chamber. Okay, it is common, so it's good to see it again. Got a Spiteful Shard Witch, so when this is destroyed, it gives the opposing creature -6, -6. And then another Stout Skeleton. So at least with this one, we got well, I guess we still only got the one spirit, so definitely need some help for the Caller of Souls. And then Cersei got a Grave Robbery, which is a really cool new ability. Put a level 1 creature from an enemy player's banished pile to play. Soul Siphon, and at 4 we got the Cersei's Propaganda. So this is a little bit better than the last one, but still is not really wowing me. At least it has some amount of interaction with the Hungering Strike and the Engulfer, as well as the what was it? The Maw. So not the worst, but definitely one I'd be considering for a sealed deck. I think it has enough going on that you could probably make it work, especially if you can get some more spirit synergy going to make the Caller of Souls reliably activate. I think the Caller of Souls is a little bit weaker if you can't get the spirits in your banished pile easily, or the only spirits you have you don't want to play or upgrade, but still, being able to upgrade some extra cards is not terrible, and the stats on it aren't bad. So, Land Patroller, Stealth, Exalted. When an opposing creature comes into play, it gets Defender. So yeah, just hard to block it. We got Brigard Carrier. Got a Camouflage Scavenger, so a couple stealth creatures. Got another Energy Surge back. Got Overwhelming Force, rather. So each creature gets +8, and each of the ones that are in an Exalt get 8 armor this turn. So if you get a lot of Exalts out, that could be pretty scary. A Salvage Juggernaut. So Exalted gets 5 armor. Just kind of an okay creature. Seal of Anvilon, another energy creature, or another energy Exalt. Deploy gets 2 charge counter or energy counters, and then you can start giving creatures minus attack. All right, we got a Steel Eye again. This time we actually have some minions to play with it. Oh, suppressing, right? Suppressing Guide, so that's back. And then a Zapping Hacker, interesting. So this is got a lot going on. So it's mobility 1. When this deals damage to an enemy player, you may play a Mega Gizmo minion. And when you deploy it, you give the opposing creature -9. So I can see this is pretty cool. You just drop it in front of something and then move it over after neutralizing it. So that's a really cool Forge creature there. For our Forgeborn, we have got Rosetta. We got Tinker back from set 1. Augment. So give one of your creatures +3/+3. You may repeat one of its deploy abilities. And then Flight Modification. Give a creature +8 attack this turn. Gets mobility 3. So what kind of deploys? We got the Suppressing. We've got the Suppressing. That's the only deploy creature we have to go with that Rosetta. But that said, this has a lot of pretty cool minion stuff going on with it. Lots of ways to generate minions. And that Zapping Hacker is pretty cool. That's something I definitely want to try out. Alright, moving on to Ancestral Staff. Now in Battle for I think past, the chase card was the Rumble Spark, but that is not back in the last winter. But there are a couple cool Soulbind cards you can get. I actually think Sunder might be one of the better of the Soulbinds you can get. So here's our Ancestral Staff. Got an Ardent Worm. Blizzard Shaman is back. We got a Combat Giant, just a big vanilla creature. Got Echoing Smashfist. So Echoing was that one I was talking about. It basically lets you play Exalts for free. At the first level, you have to replace a creature, so it functions like the Uranti Elementalist, but still a cool card. Got the Flamestoker Ritual. Okay, Goliath is back. Probably not the Soulbind you want to see, but he still is a decent creature. Got the Mount of Heroes as another Exalt. Stout Stonefist. And Wildfire Maiden. And then our Forgeborn here is going to be Korok. So Korok's one system, play a level 1 Tempest card for free. I definitely like that new Korok ability. Then we got the Whirlwind and Deep Burn. So Deep Burn at 4 is pretty devastating. 12 damage is game-ending amount of damage. So I could definitely see some decks built around Deep Burn at that level, or even at level at cycle 3. I'd love to see sort of a good Mantis Forge Seal build. Just burn your opponent down and keep them from gaining life over several turns. Could be pretty devastating. And finally, we got our Utera. Starting off with the Cultivating Guardian. I do like that the Guardian is common. It's a nice sort of like linchpin piece. It's not too overpowered. It helps you kind of ramp your deck and sort of support that upgrade synergy for the Utera Loyan pairing. But it's nice that you can see it quite a bit because it's not overstated. You know, upgrading is only so good if you can get a good upgrade target. So Dendrify is our next card. Druid's Chance is back. It's a nice life gain buff. Got the Fertile Ground. This is a really nice energy payoff, or energy exalt. Gets 2 energy counters, remove 1 to play a level 1 or 2 creature from your hand for free. So I get 2 free creatures out of this. Got a Hardshell Beetle. Dauntless Wanderer is also back. It's a nice reprint. Got a Roaring Tuskmage. So when you upgrade a card, give it +5 health. And deploy, give another creature +5/+5. So not bad. Got a Shardplate Behemoth. And a Venerable Wildman. And then Wolfstar Djinn is also back. Nice spirit reprint. So Venerable Wildman is actually kind of nice. What does it start off as? A 7/7, so it's almost an Oakfather as a level 1 creature. Nice thing to drop in that Fertile Ground lane. In terms of our Forgeborn, we've got Oros. Shapeshift at 2. Dark Spores at 3. And Bark Skin at 4. So Dark Spores gives an enemy creature minus 8 health. If it's in a lane with an enemy exalt, each adjacent creature also gets -6. So if your opponent's not playing exalts, it's still at least like, -6 health. It's actually better than Korik's Flame Strike ability at that level. So definitely a nice Oros ability, even if you can't trigger the exalt part of it. But we're down to our last kit from this display case. Let's see if we can get anything spicy to round out our box here. So right off the bat, Soulbind. So let's leave that for the end, and we'll take a look at that together in just a minute. So going to start here with our Loyan Patroller, since we know what that does. Maybe we can get a decent number of a decent number of exalts in this deck. We should get at least one, since it is an exalted creature. Alright, so got our Loyan Patroller. Bird Carrier again. I guess it is a common, so it's not as good as Drix, at least it shows up more often. You got the Lightforged Sentry, card that I have a lot of respect for. I think it's a pretty good card. Mech Armory. It's a energy counter, gives a creature attack, and if it's level gated, it gets mobility as well. Palladium Pulse Mage, nice card to come back. Oh, okay, Progressive Champion. So if it's in an Exalt lane, you get to activate it to give adjacent creatures the attack and health, but also when when another one of your creatures replaces a creature, give it 5/5. So it's the Drix ability, essentially. I got Shield Droid, another Exalted. So we got 3 Exalteds going on here. Let's even get some more Exalts to go with them. Got a Spirit Steel Infiltrator again. Suppressing Juggernaut, Lice. I like the suppressing, so that's 4 Exalteds. I think that might be all the Exalted cards. And then a Venerable Guide. So just give something extra health. But it probably has a pretty decent stats at the lower level. For our Forgeborn, we get Rosetta. Flight Modification at 2, 4 in Mobility, and then Optimize is back, and then Augment at 4. Give one of your creatures +5/+5, repeat a deploy ability, which we have all of. We got 2. Okay, not terrible. Yeah, this is a pretty cool deck. It definitely wants to pair with Tempest with a good Exalt build. But a lot of just sort of like building block pieces. So this would be a very good support deck, I would think. No direct, other than suppressing, doesn't have a lot of interaction per se. But still, for the Loyan deck, it definitely is a buff compared to some of the older sets. I want them to add pull tabs in the next set. If anybody out there is listening, please add pull tabs to these. They're so hit or miss on opening these without damaging the cards. Alright. Alright, here we go. Central Staff. Get to move it around, and whatever creature gets deployed to that lane gets attack. It blows up the earlier versions to deal damage. You get Arrogant Sparker. This is the inverse of that guide. So you give plus attack to the next creature, part of that cycle. You got an Emboldened Caller. It gets +9 attack if you have another creature with increased attack. Got a Flame Break Invoker. Got a Fleet Shardback. So Shardback is back, but Furious is not, for good reason. Got the Frostveil Keeper. Nice big aggressive creature with some pretty decent ability at the end there. Got Ice Storm. Stout Colossus. Another nice warrior going on. Got the Summoning Warstoker. Just get an extra spell sprite. And a Wildfire Maiden to fill it out. And for our Forgeborn, we've got Sunder with Reclaim at 2. Gathering Storm at 3 and Outwit at 4. So Reclaim, nice, lets you upgrade a spell in your hand, worst case scenario. And then if it's an Exalt, you get to play it for free. Got like Storm's oldie but goodie. Outwit just lets you have choose an enemy creature and have it strike another creature of your choice. Not bad. I don't know how I feel about this deck. It doesn't have too much removal, which is what Tempest really likes to have. You can see how the Wildfire Maiden. You can use that to ping your own shard back. But it's a little bit all over the place. Not the best Tempest deck, but still not terrible. Alright, let's check out this Utera deck next. Last of our Utera decks. I don't think we saw a Betrayer in this box yet, so it feels like we're due. I don't know if they reduced the rate of Betrayers in this set or not. I know they had increased it in Battle for White Fang Pass, but not sure what it's at for the last winter. But start off with Combat Featherfang. Got a Druid's Chant. Alright, Echo Wolves. That's a nice soul bind to get. Bring out the Echo Pups. Get ourselves an Inspirited Slayer. So you can replace this with another spirit in your banish pile. Kind of cool with the Echo Wolves. Just bring them back over and over again. You got the Lycian Shard. This is the breakthrough one. You got Overgrown. You only play up to 2 creatures and or exalts for free. The earlier levels, your opponent gets to 2 as well. Oh, Roaring Mastodon. Okay, that's a great little forge modifier. So the Mastodon cares about you having creatures with an increased attack. And this, you deploy it and you give another creature attack and health. So self-solving, really nice at level 1, I'm sure. Let's see what the stats are on it. You got Torgmai Mender. Activate to give a creature of your choice +3 health. Uprising Decayosaur, if it would gain attack, it gets that +4 instead. And then Venerable Batterhide to round it out. So nuke enemy abilities. And I am curious about the Mastodon, so let's see what its progression is. So it's a 2/3 at level 2, so it would come in first time you'd be able to make it a 5/6, and it would give another creature 3/3. So a decent amount of stats on that for that second level. For our third level, it's a 1/2. So 4/5 with a 2/2 bonus is still pretty good. Makes me want to try this deck out, especially with the Echo Wolves and the Inspirited Slayer to go with it. And then we got Nova's Might, Bounty, and Nova's Evolution at 4. So the Evolution functions a lot like Army Commander, lets you upgrade the creature twice and then play it for free. So if you don't draw your Echo Wolves the whole game, you can suddenly have a whole army at cycle 4. No problem. So this is a pretty cool deck. I'm actually interested in trying this one out quite a bit. It doesn't have real interaction, but other than the, I guess, the Batterhide, but it definitely dumps a lot of stats on the board. Finally, we've got our Necrogram with Corpse Host, which is a soul bind. So we'll go over what that does in just a second here. So this is one that I think would be pretty cool to pair with a Tempest deck, and you'll see in a second why that is. Alright, so Corpse Host. Deal 5 damage to another one of your creatures to give it +5, then transform. Or give this +5 health and then transform Necrolab. So let's look at Necrolab. So let's see if we can see that. Alright. When your creature in this lane is dealt damage, put an energy counter on this. You do not remove energy counters from this when it transforms. Okay, so what do you get out of that? Well, when you transform it, activate, remove any number of energy counters from this to destroy a creature with a level lower than the number of energy counters removed. So remove 2 counters to kill a level 1, 3 to kill a level 2, and 4 to kill a level 3 creature. So if you can get a bunch of counters built up, the Corpse Host helps you do that as well. You can do quite a bit, and over a couple turns of just killing your opponent's creatures at will. So start off with that Corpse Host. You got a Corpus Cliffs. Destroy your 1 or 2 Corpus Cliffs, then play a zombie brute minion in this lane. And at the start of combat, you get to give the creature in this lane +10 attack. That's not bad. Covetous Bloodlord. Activate to give another one of your creature minus attack to give it plus attack. You got the Dissipating Spectre again. Gloom Reaper Hag. Grimgaunt Predator. Got Haunt too. Alright, he finally showed up. It's a nice one. This is the one where one of your creatures is destroyed, it reanimates unless your enemy takes damage. Very frustrating to play against. You got the Hungering Strike. Give attack and minus health. You got a Stout Terror. So if you have 3 more spirits in your banished pile, you get to give one of your creatures +6/+6. And we've already got 1, 2, 3 spirits. This doesn't count because the corpse... Actually, no, the corpse hopes is a spirit. That will count because it will go to the banished pile. It's Exaltable not. And then Vyric's Embrace. Just a nice, efficient, deal some damage, gain some life. Let's see what kind of Forge Worm we get with this. Okay, this is a decent Circe. So... Got the Circe's Propaganda, give a creature -2/-3. If it's in a lane with one of your exalts, you can give another creature +3/+3. Got Grave Robbery at 3, so bringing a 1 or 2 back. Much more impactful than the level 2 ability. And then a Soul Siphon at 4. So yeah, I'm excited about this deck. I really want to give this one a try. It has a little bit of removal. I want to see how the Corpse Host works. It's very weak at level 1, if I remember correctly. Let's take a look at how it progresses real quick. But having something like a Stout Terror, right? Just a lot of stats on the back end can be pretty good. So it's a 3/3 when you first play it. So it's basically a mindless zombie that comes with an exalt. But yeah, throw this into the lane, put on the Necrolab, you get the first counter, kill something in the process, and then just keep blocking that lane. Let's see, level 2 of this, you deal 3 to a creature to give it +3. Okay, yeah, not bad. So it's like 5/8. And also triggers Necrolab again. So yeah, if you get all 3 levels, it can do quite a bit. So yeah, I'm excited to try that one out. But yeah, that was a fun box opening. I don't think we got any Betrayers, but we did get a foil deck, which was cool. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and probably register these decks, take it to the queues, and have some fun with it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I always enjoy doing unboxing, theory crafting, looking at all the different cards that come out and thinking about the decks that way. If you did, go ahead and please leave a comment and a like, and subscribe to the channel so you're notified next time I put one of these out, and I will catch you guys for the next episode.